The Weatherfield Nightingale herself, Miss Rita Littlewood.
Right, where do I start?
It's 50 years since Barbara Knox first appeared in Coronation Street.
Got your eyeful?
Since then, she and her character Rita have entertained millions.
I've met some hard-faced bitches in my time, but you take the bloody gold medal.
50 years in any job is remarkable, and make this character probably one of the most loved people in the British Isles is a hell of an achievement.
Hello, Rita Fairclough cabin.
We've witnessed a life of drama.
I care whether Rita is happy. That's Barbara's skill.
Barbara just takes herself there. Breaks your heart.
And enjoyed moments of comedy.
Well, what did your last slave die of?
Impertinence.
No doubt about it. Very funny lady. Brilliant.
I just want my ding back.
Oh, it's your age, love. Happens to us all.
You stupid!
Over the next hour, we'll relive all of Rita's greatest hits.
It's okay, it's all right.
And take Barbara back to where her love of show business began.
Everything's happened to me from here.
And there's an emotional reunion for one of television's best-loved double acts.
Don't cry now.
I love her. I absolutely love her to death.
She is a legend. She's brilliant at what she does.
Get out.
Barbara is Coronation Street.
This is Weatherfield's world-famous cabin. It might look like just another day on set for Barbara Knox, but there are secret plans to make this a special occasion.
All right, come on. What have you done this time?
This month marks the 50th anniversary since her first appearance in Coronation Street, on the 2nd of December, 1964.
Cheers. Hope you jumper.
Go down.
Waiting in the wings to surprise Barbara.
Action!
Oh, what was that?
One of her closest friends and lifelong Coronation Street fan, Paul O'Grady.
I tell you what, Rita, I've just dragged this ball off them kids outside, banging it on your window. Honestly, I can't be doing with you suffering. I mean, it's too much. And I believe you're looking for a paper boy. I know I'm 49 years too late, but... Come here, give us a kiss. Come out here where I can have a look at you.
What are you doing here?
I've come up to see you.
You must have nothing better to do.
No, I had a few. They let me out today release, and I said I'd come up and see you.
I thought you'd come to adopt me.
I did. Well, you're coming back with me.
I wish I could.
But look what you've done with Rita, and look at the journey Rita's been.
Oh.
I mean, how many husbands has she had?
I've lost count.
I have. I've lost count with your surname. Are you still a Tanner? I haven't got a clue. I mean, you'll always be Rita Littlewood for me. Always, always. You've been doing this for 50 years.
Oh.
50 years. And I thought, I have to come up on behalf of all your fans, and I'm one of your biggest, as you know, and say thank you very, very much. And give us a hug. Don't be crying, would she? Look, I've upset her now. Oh, Barbara.
Rita is one of the most popular characters on television. But how much do we know about the woman behind her?
Come on, of course,
Just how
yeah.
did Barbara and Rita get here? Barbara was born on the 30th of September, 1933, in Oldham, Lancashire. Her mum worked in the mill, while her dad was a fireman in the local brigade. Every summer, Barbara and her family would leave this industrial town behind and make the 50-mile journey to the seaside.
The highlight of their year was to come to Blackpool. They saved up all year to come to Blackpool because everybody came at the same time, mostly to the same digs. Hello, Alice. See you on the prom, 5 o'clock. Oh, lovely to see you. It was, for everybody, total excitement. I can see the tower. Gosh.
Today, Barbara's returning to a famous venue, and one that holds a special place in her heart.
Oh, this is an amazing moment. This is just how I remember the Tower Ballroom. Oh, my parents were very good ballroom dancers, so of course I'd have to stand there while they jigged about and did all that, and I thought they were boring. But they were very, very good dancers, and it meant so much to them. To be in here makes you feel very special. Oh, forget that. Every afternoon, my mother would bring me into this ballroom to watch a children's concert. The local ballet tap dancing school would come, and they would come through those doors there, through the curtains, and dance all the way down and dance in front of us. The little ones might come on dressed as teddy bears, and they would come down and da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I just was blown away. I couldn't believe. All I wanted was to be a chorus girl like them. Oh. And I used to look at this saying, and I never forgot it. But I had the idea that some did want to entertain you. Bid me discourse, and I will enchant thine ear. That's a bit of magic, isn't it?
But growing up, Barbara's dream to perform was stifled by one major problem: a crippling lack of confidence.
Sums me up, very shy, and you'd never think so, would you? And my mother would say, Barbara, you can't hide your light under a bushel. Unless you tell people what you can do, unless you show them, you'll never get anywhere. When I was little, everybody went to the cinema. That was it. With no television, you see, and the war was just over. So there wasn't a lot about, but the cinema, they were packed every single night. We saw everything and anything. The whole thing was glamorous and fascinating.
Heaven, I'm in heaven.
Ingrid Bergman was probably the first one that I thought was divine. Carmen Miranda, a Brazilian bombshell that had pineapples on her head and did sort of ridiculous things. Well, I thought she was marvellous and exotic. Lana Turner was very beautiful. Silvery blonde hair, oh, unbelievably glamorous.
Barbara dreamed that one day she could follow in her screen heroine's footsteps, but was often brought back to reality by her hard-working parents.
You've got to have a profession, Barbara, something. You know, if you're a typist or a hairdresser, something in your hand. They can't cut your hands off. So no matter what's going to happen to you, no matter, you've got a trade in your hands. So, of course, I ended up going to work in the great big post office in Manchester, which was very thrilling. I mean, thrilling because I'd never left Oldham, where I was born. And as the people phoned in, I used to say, hello, telegrams here, can I help you?
If you will replace your receiver, I will call you almost immediately.
But my heart was not in any of it.
Her parents might have wanted their daughter to pursue a conventional job, but another relative encouraged Barbara's passion for performing.
My Auntie Hilda would say, you know, she's not like us. You know, she can't go in the mill. She's a bit romantic, and things softened after that. But it was my aunt saying, she's not like us. I don't know what she meant, but there we go.
Auntie Hilda had fueled Barbara's desire to appear on the stage. And in May 1962, at 28 years of age, she landed her first role in the theatre of her hometown. 52 years later, Barbara is back to once more tread the boards, where her acting career began.
Oh, my God. Marvellous. Marvellous. I spent so many years here. People say it's like coming home. And it is. This was my home for many, many years. Everything's happened to me from here. And I learned everything that you could possibly want to know to help you to be successful and carry on. The main thing was the discipline. You couldn't be late, you had to know your lines. And another important thing that I learned right here with these wonderful audiences, to time a line, to time a laugh. And if you got it right, you got your laugh. If you didn't, you've egg on your face. I owe a lot to this place. And people of Oldham were really marvellous to me. They were indeed. I never really left, because it's still in your heart.
It was while appearing at Oldham Rep that Barbara got her big break into television on a show that was a huge hit at home.
My parents always watched it, and my mother actually said, you know, Barbara, this show is going to run and run forever.
And on the 2nd of December, 1964, 31-year-old Barbara Maloney made her first appearance on Coronation Street as her character Rita Littlewood came face to face with Stan Ogden.
Got your eye full?
Yeah, oh, sorry, love. I was just brooding, you know.
I could tell.
Well, I'm a bit moody, like, you know. How about another drink, will you? Have half a pint?
I'll have a vodka and lime.
Immediately you saw the star quality because you saw the character. She was feisty, she was full of energy, and it was a brilliant first scene.
Rita Littlewood.
Dennis Tanner!
Hello, how are you? Hey, you
Oh,
look
good
great,
to
man.
see
You
ya.
look smashing.
Yes, it's all right.
Another vodka and lime up the chute.
What are you doing? Exotic dancing.
She was begging to stay at Elsie's for the night because she had nowhere to stay.
Oh, come on, Dennis.
She'll hang drawn, quarter me.
Don't be so rotten stuffy.
I conned him into letting me stay in Elsie's bed.
Elsie?
I was thrilled about getting into the street. I thought, I'm going to be in this forever. And I thought, that's just the part I've been looking for. That's what I want to play.
Elsie? Oh.
But after appearing in just one episode, it would be 7 years before Rita returned to Weatherfield. In the meantime, Barbara would earn her comedy stripes alongside a TV legend.
She brings up enthusiasm to every time she appears on television.
There we go.
ITV Studios, Manchester.
This way, boys and girls.
And Coronation Street guide David Nugent is showing some special guests around the famous cobbled street.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. From Canada. Yes, all that way.
These 48 avid fans are from the street's Canadian fan club. They've travelled over 4,000 miles for this exclusive tour.
We're going to go to studio now.
And today, they're in for a special surprise.
Oh, fabulous! Oh, you're beautiful, isn't it? Oh, how lovely to see you. Oh, how lovely to see.
So what are you doing after here? You might pay for tea. Oh, I wish you could. Norris won't let you, though.
Oh, you're right.
Just to me.
In 50 years, Barbara Knox has appeared in over 3,500 episodes. So it's no surprise she's one of the fans' favourites.
I've been waiting the longest for this, and you're my favourite.
I bet she said that to everybody. Oh, my dear, I haven't made you cry. Are you having a photograph taken? Thank you. You did? Yes. You don't want another?
I know.
The exotic sounds of Dennis
But
Tanner.
after a fleeting appearance as Rita Littlewood in 1964,
Dennis Tanner and his performing seals.
Barbara would spend the next 7 years away from the street,
This is the Macedonian Embassy, isn't it?
performing in a variety of theatre, radio and television shows.
dozens and dozens of plays on radio, your mid-morning stories, your game shows, and years of working as a feed to Les Dawson, Mike Yarwood, Ray Allen and Lord Charles. And I thought I would just carry on being a jobbing actress for a lifetime.
By the early 70s, Barbara had landed a role as a sidekick to one of the country's most popular comedians, Ken Dodd.
I had an idea for a show that included gags and jokes and sketches, and I thought I'd call it...
Oh, funny you should say that. Oh, by
The joke was first.
Do you like men, love?
Yes.
Do you like all men?
Some.
Some men.
Whatever they said, you do a sketch on that particular subject.
Some men are monsters. Funny you should say that.
I think when we had Barbara, she was there as the glamour. Once we saw her in her nightie, that was it. I said, never mind whether it's funny or not, that's the bit we want.
What do you want?
Barbara Mullaney in her nightie. Or her neglected.
I forgot me key again, love. Didn't hear me knocking downstairs.
I remember Barbara as a very, very dedicated actress, a very hard-working lady.
He pinched my bottom.
You did what, miss?
He pinched my bottom.
Pinched your bottom? Here, you. Give the lady her bottom back.
She could do straight voices, romantic voices, funny voices, you know.
Oh. Off. Me?
And have the tea ready in half an hour.
She had drive, she had ambition, but it was always controlled.
How is it I get booked every Saturday at exactly the same time? Off.
But while filming with Ken, opportunity knocked once more for Barbara, with a chance to return to Coronation Street. But would the boss let her go?
And I got the call from Granada Television to go down and take up this part. And I just thought, my God, he's never going to release me.
She said to me, Ken, can I have next Tuesday off? I said, what? She said, can I miss next Tuesday? I said, no, you can't. No, we need you. All the sketches are written. Oh. I said, why? Well, she said, I've got an audition and there's a chance I may be offered a part in Coronation Street.
Anyway, that night we were doing a sketch, and as the audience started to applaud, he just looked up and he said, don't let me down in Coronation Street. That was marvellous.
It was January 1972 when Barbara Mullaney returned to Coronation Street.
Rita. Oh, and love, it's Littlewood now. Miss Rita Littlewood.
Rita came back into the show, a little bit of a love interest for Ken Barlow.
Well, you're honest, if now tells.
It's your prerogative to throw me out.
It's not my nature to throw fellas out.
Fine.
Barbara was a very attractive woman, very, very likeable, very lovely. Also, a superb actress. She appeared to be totally confident and totally relaxed and very at home.
I'm dun, 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 the greatest star. Dun, 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 dun. I am by far.
Having spotted Barbara's strong performances, the writers realised her character might have more potential than they originally thought, and summoned the actress to the office.
I've never heard them do this. The directors and the storyline writers were there to meet me. It was their ideas to ask me, what do you think, you would do for a living? And I said, well, there's a lot of clubs around Manchester. I bet she works in a club. Fine, good idea. When the script came, it said I was discovered singing. And I thought, well, they've got this utterly wrong. This must be for somebody else. So I phoned up and I said, have you made a mistake? He said, she's singing. That's right. Yes, you're a singer in the clubs. No, I don't sing.
To see whether Barbara could hold a tune, Granada's musical director, Derek Hilton, put her voice to the test.
Why did I choose you? What did I see in you?
So as I started it, he just turned to the door and went, "She can sing."
Our lovely songbird, Rita.
Soon, Rita had found a new home as resident performer at the Capricorn Club.
I saw the heart you hide so well. Embrace me, my sweet.
In 1973, Barbara's singing career went from Weatherfield to our record shops when she released her own album.
Embrace me.
I was thrilled. You are. Somebody asked you to make an LP in those days. And I just couldn't believe that I'm not a singer, but there I am with these wonderful orchestras. And unfortunately, the chap in charge wouldn't let me promote it. So I bought one, my mother bought one. Not sure if anybody else did.
Now, who were I talking to? I know, Lillian Prentice.
Throughout the 70s, viewers watched as flame-haired Rita locked horns with one of the street's original feisty females, played by Pat Phoenix.
You can't be any sorrier than I am, because I can't afford to keep traipsing across here buying your rubbishy type.
They are not rubbish, and regardless of what you say, how do I know you didn't pluck 'em on summit?
I did not pluck 'em on anything.
Hey, what's going on here?
Barbara's a very strong actress and a very strong character, so they put her up against a character like Elsie.
Just watch it, Littlewood, that's all.
And you watch it. And the name's Furclipper. Is that the bit that sticks in your craw?
No, come on, Rita.
It shows her power and her strength that they would put her up against someone like Elsie.
That is enough. You don't think I'm going to take that from her, do you? The poor man's Marlena Dietrich.
See, for 2 pins, I'd drag you around this pub by that daft red wig of
You're
yours.
welcome to try, madam, any time.
Yeah, they were kind of head-to-head, really.
But that's because they were so similar, and they were both terribly glamorous, and both kind of foxy ladies.
Suddenly, this uppity madam comes and giving just as good as she's getting.
I mean, I don't have to tell you what they're like round here. I've been talking about you since Adam were a lad.
Not quite as long as that.
She enjoyed it as well.
And I'm sure I'll have your cooperation. Right?
Right.
She liked to keep Elsie as the dominant one, and she did protect that, she did fight for that. And I think Barbara did very well in standing up for that and being equal, very much equal to it.
Now, look here,
No,
Elsie.
you're looking for a change, but not round here. I know you're so. Off with the old and on with the new.
You've got it all wrong.
Pat Phoenix was the star, and she lived as a star. She would go home at night, and her housekeeper used to plot tomorrow, the clothes, the jewels, the hat, the shoes, everything. And she looked like a star. Her heart was in the right place, and I liked working with her.
You've been reading it. You've been reading my novel.
Rita might have had an uneasy relationship with Elsie Tanner, but she would find a friend and ally in mild-mannered Mavis.
Oh, Rita, you'd know right.
I thought it was sexy.
Well, you would. You'd find a seed catalogue sexy.
Well, what more sexy than a seed catalogue? All that propagation and fertilisation.
Shut up.
Rita and Mavis, they were fantastic, weren't they? Just so at odds with each other, such an odd couple, and yet it worked perfectly.
I'm not a bag of nerves. I'm perfectly all right.
Then why are you screaming?
I'm not screaming. My voice is naturally high-pitched.
Oh, why? You and Kate Bush.
Rita and Mavis was one of the great partnerships of the street. I mean, it was a sort of hinge and bracket in a kind of drama story.
Oh, let's face it, Rita. People do have affairs.
Well, I know that, but I mean, come on. Who fancied Derek? I mean, knowing he was married.
It was one of those things where she could say what she wanted about Mavis, but nobody else could.
Tell him I'm not in. I don't talk like that.
One of these days, I'll record you when you've been thoroughly mardy.
I loved Rita and Mavis. I think it's because Rita is so strong and Mavis was so weak, but together they just work so brilliantly.
He picked you up on a beach.
Well, why is it all right for you to be picked up, not me?
Because, Cabbage Head, I can look after myself.
It's 17 years since they last appeared together on screen.
Dear old Barbara, you've said all of that.
But today, Barbara is back alongside actress Thelma Barlow to enjoy some of their greatest moments.
Oh, it's not.
that better?
Right comfy now.
Right comfy now. Don't move. Because it'll all fall down.
So how did this lasting friendship begin back in 1973?
It's Littlewood.
That's me.
I'm Mavis Riley. I've come about the job.
Isn't that wonderful?
I don't think I had to act that. I was so frightened.
Oh, look at this.
I've got all little sun blisters down my rotten cleavage.
Look at you. Look at me.
God,
I can't think I ever looked like that.
A bit scanty for the time.
I don't want to even think about it.
What a say.
I think I've cracked it. Hurry up and hook me up.
The scripts were so
funny. Wonderful.
Adios, amigas. Hey, keep your eye on them bags. Come on, sailor.
Oh, I haven't seen this. I'd forgotten this totally.
Derek thinks a good layer of topsoil will get things off to the right start.
These were lovely scenes, though, weren't they? Yes.
It's even taken to reading gardening books in bed.
Well, let's face it. You've got to do something in bed, haven't you?
Mavis was the butt of all the jokes in the street, wasn't she?
Yes,
But I think she was very strong inside. Of course, marvellous character.
I was so marvellous character. I would have been here on time, Rita. Only, well, Derek can be very masterful on occasion.
Can you buy it?
Yeah, I mean, it just began like any other Monday morning, and I was getting ready in plenty of time, but, well, Derek had other ideas.
Oh, now, hang on. Have I got this right? Did Derek suddenly,
I did demur at first, but...
Demurred? Quite overboard. You've been shoving parsnips down him all weekend?
Saturday night, I mashed some up with some carrots. It was a very nice mixture, actually.
Yes. I bet parsnips are going to be a permanent part of your shopping list from now on, eh?
Rita, I think we should talk about something else. Something more uplifting.
Isn't that charming? Well, you see, that might look very old-fashioned now to youngsters. No, I think comedy is timeless. Oh, comedy's timeless. Yes, comedy's timeless.
In 1997, after 24 years as half of Britain's best-loved newsagents, it was time for Mavis to go.
So what will you do then? Advertise for somebody?
I suppose I'll have to. Unless you change your mind and stop on.
I'm afraid not.
No. Shame.
It was hard, wasn't it? Oh, don't cry now. Well, goodbye, Rita.
I do hope you'll be happy. I hope you will be too.
Oh, dear, wasn't that sad? Why did I change my mind? I think I tried to persuade you several times before you finally went. We had a lot of fun. Yeah. I see, and we're still talking to one another, which says something. I won't when this programme's finished.
There were many happy times working with Mavis, but in Rita's life, a trauma was never far behind.
I still remember that scene vividly. It had quite an impact on me.
Why does it happen to people like us?
5 decades after we first saw one of TV's most glamorous characters on screen, the woman behind Rita, Barbara Knox, is arriving at work.
Right, come in. This is my dressing room. Come in, come in, come in. I get a lot of letters. People want to know, you know, how do you live when you're there? We put that on. You have to have these on when you're made up. Obviously, tons of makeup. So there we are. That's only a bit of it, really. Michelle and Me. She's a lovely picture of her. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All these nice little things people have given me, and that's supposed to be a key ring. It weighs a ton, but it is also a lip gloss. Isn't that cute? That's a really pretty one. And when you open it, it goes like that. And then you can do that. Isn't that good? I'm very childish, really, when you think about it. The simplest things amuse me, but that's nice. A little rummage. That's very pretty. Very glittery, glittery, glittery. Because you never know when you need a bit of glitter. This is very important. And that's always there because that's Rita's wedding ring and engagement ring. Yes, I have several of these over the years. Different gentlemen, of course.
Where do I start?
In her 50 years in Weatherfield,
You are off.
Yeah, but you like me.
Rita has never been short of male attention.
See you, Ginger.
Indeed, she's had more marriage proposals than any other character. 15 and counting.
I want you to marry me, Rita.
Are you asking me to marry you?
Yeah.
But of her 3 marriages, the most tempestuous relationship was the one she shared with Len Fairclough.
You must be mad marrying a fella like me.
I must be mad.
Len Fairclough was always the kind of bloke that I, in those days and certainly now, would have gone for. So, you know, a bit of rough, do we say? I think it worked because Rita is a very strong person.
Well, I'm going. All right, then go. But don't expect a job when you get back. Go on, take a poke at me.
And Len, he was a tough northern bloke, you know, and yes, they would clash, but that's how relationships are.
I can remember pouring a pint of beer over his head. They put all sorts of things in to show that Rita wasn't frightened of him and she could stand up for him.
In December 1983, after a stormy 11 years with Len, Rita's world was rocked when the police turned up at the Rovers during the Ogden's Ruby wedding celebration.
Is there a Mrs. Fairclough here?
Together now for 40 years.
What is it? Well, it's Len. There's been an accident. Oh, my God. I mean, I don't know whether to go in there and tell him or what, but he's dead, love.
Len's passing would give Barbara her toughest on-screen challenge yet.
Look, why don't you go and rest for a couple of hours? You look fit to draw.
I think that is a sort of Coronation Street detail to allow one moment of unfettered grief for the audience to kind of really have a boo-hoo to mark the passing of a character.
Why, Mavis? Why, Len? It's so much to live for. We both had. Why does it happen to people like us?
I'd never done this sort of scene on television, and I just thought that I'm going to be still sat here in the same frock. She is distraught. She's not going to go and doll herself up. So she is shattered. So that's what I did.
It's only me. Hello, Emily.
She's in her front room, and Emily came in and said to her, as you do when somebody's lost a partner.
How are you feeling this morning? What am I supposed to say to that?
And Rita she went into one.
I had quite a few visitors this morning. They all keep asking how I feel. As if I've got measles or something. And I keep having to say, I'm fine, thanks, under the circumstances. What I really feel like doing is screaming from the rooftops, and I feel as if I've lost an arm and a leg.
Extremely powerful rant, tears running down the face, the obligatory snot, and it was wonderful.
I'm sorry, Emily.
And I love her because she's prepared to look rough. You don't sort of get this anymore on stuff. You see them cleaning the steps, looking like they're just going to a club.
You're a good lad.
There would be no children for Rita,
Mrs. Fairclough, this is Sharon. Sharon Gaskell.
but she has always played a maternal role in Coronation Street.
Like a daughter to me.
You've been more of a mum to me than my own mum ever was.
But in 1986, when Rita fostered troublesome teenager Jenny Bradley,
I'm
No bother really, though, am I? I mean, half the time you don't know I'm here.
It would lead to Barbara's most talked-about storyline to date in her time on the street.
Yes.
I'm Alan Bradley, Jenny's father.
Oh, yes, come in. The door opens, and Alan Bradley walked in. And he walked into Rita's life.
At first, Alan Bradley seemed a charming character. But we soon saw his dark side.
No, it's not okay, love. I'm getting a bit tired of you.
Well, it was horrific because we could see it as the viewer, but she couldn't because, again, she was blinkered by love.
Let's not play games. You've been seeing another woman.
I have, yeah.
You knew what was going to happen. You knew she was heading for a terrible fall.
Was she worth it, Alan? You bitter stuff.
Of course, it got darker and darker, where he became more and more violent. And we worked those violent scenes out. And I would say to him, you know, Mark, I'm going to go for you.
We rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. Barbara said to me, if you start attacking me, I'm going to fight you. And it's not going to be pretend. I'm really going to try and stop you from doing what you're doing. And I said, well, that makes wonderful television, Barbara. Let's do that.
What a blind fool I've been.
We made it as exciting as possible.
You've lied and you've cheated. But you'll not walk away from this with a smile on your face.
And both of us were all for it being real.
You bitch! You stupid vindictive bitch! Stop it! Maybe your time's up and all!
It was just one take. And it had to be one take, because I don't think, emotionally, apart from anything else, we could have done it again.
You'd put me away for a few lousy quid? Would you?
When they said cut, I went over and put my arms around her, and I could feel her shaking, and she said, you frightened the life out of me.
Hey, what the hell's going on here? Get out of it!
Well, it was very convincing. It was very convincing.
Oh, my God!
Because he was such a good actor. That's the point. He would make me feel frightened. That's the point.
At the end, we were both exhausted. But fortunately, they got it in one, and we went home. We went and had a cup of tea together.
Bradley's brutal attack left Rita in hospital.
I'll come and see you in the morning. Get a proper statement then.
Alan Bradley was soon caught by the police. But after a short spell in prison, he would return to Weatherfield, hell-bent on punishing Rita.
What do you want?
Rita thinks her nightmare is over, but it's only just beginning.
In 1989, after 3 years of abuse at the hands of Alan Bradley,
Good old Len. He had a bit on his side and all, didn't he?
Rita had suffered a breakdown and fled from Weatherfield.
By the time we'd got to the Blackpool scenes, my goodness, the nation was in uproar.
How are you?
Me?
Oh, never better. How's Len coping? Len?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My pianist, Brian.
But Bradley tracked Rita down. 21 million people tuned in to see what would happen next.
In a great scene, he mistook Bet for Rita.
Get out of that bed before I drag you out! Where's Rita?
She's not here!
I can see that, you stupid cow! Where is she?
I don't know!
He left the boarding house, but saw Rita on the pavement, ran to get her, was determined to drag her back to Weatherfield.
She said, Mark, the one thing I'm not going to try and do is go in that car.
Get in the car.
So I know once I'm in that car, I've had it. So I'm going to fight you all the way.
I'm taking you back to Weatherfield. Now get in the car!
If you look at that scene, literally dragging her round.
Get in the car!
And throwing her in the car. As I moved away, of course, she jumped out and ran across the road.
Go back, you stupid bitch!
The tram comes up the promenade, and I've just...
As soon as the tram came over and Rita got away, we all dived out of our seats and went, arms in the air like, yes!
When he was killed by that tramp, it was such a relief. Because if she's one of your favourite characters, you can't stand to see them abused. And it was quite harrowing to watch, to tell you the truth.
It's okay, it's all right, Rita. It's over.
It was just so exciting. I love that story. That's my favourite story of all time.
I'm sticking my neck out. I think that was probably one of the best scenes in Coronation Street.
We had such a rapport. It was as though we were made to work opposite each other.
I was so sorry that he had to die off. I wanted him to jump off the end of the pier and people say he's drowned. And I had hoped he would be able to come back, but he didn't. He was killed off.
With Alan Bradley gone, Rita returned to Coronation Street. The 90s saw her find true love.
To be my lawful wedded wife.
And rediscover her feisty personality.
By hell, lady. I've met some hard-faced bitches in my time, but you take the bloody gold medal.
But by the end of the decade, Mavis had gone, and the writers felt Rita needed a new sidekick in her beloved cabin.
Can't run that cabin on my own.
Hello, Rita.
Norris, didn't know you were still around.
When Mavis left, it was awful. You just think, well, if Laurel and Hardy broke up, how did they feel? How do you go on? And they put Malcolm in. They couldn't have found anybody better.
Oh, you won't regret it.
A completely different dynamic, a completely different character, but still a foil for Rita. Someone that she could let off steam to, someone she could criticise.
But actor Malcolm Hebden was nervous about whether the British public would take to Fusspot Norris.
The problem for me was that this long-established relationship of Mavis and Rita.
I've had enough of this.
What?
You chunnering on.
I think perhaps people resented me a little bit to begin with. You know, you're not Mavis, you don't have that warmth. Well, he doesn't have any warmth at all, actually.
He's a gossip, he's a troublemaker, he's spiteful.
That isn't yours.
It's not yours either.
Thanks, Rita. Thank you. Naughty.
Sometimes you can be so irritating.
Me irritating?
How she puts up with Norris. I'd get hold of Norris and I'd bury his head in the pick and mix.
Goulash.
Beg your pardon?
It's Hungarian, Norris, for pompous killjoy.
Is it? I was comfortable with her very, very quickly. And I remember those early scenes with just bliss, really. Earl Grey, a smoky, subtle hint of bergamot.
At this time of the day, I like my tea like I like my men. Hot, strong, sweet.
I love Malcolm and Barbara. I love the nosy neighbour and the sincere woman that is his friend.
Freshen me vodka, will you?
Well, what did your last slave die of?
Impertinence.
I think, again, it is the comedy with Rita and Norris.
Do you think cats have souls?
Oh, Norris, isn't he wonderful? Go on, Norris. Say something else. Make me laugh.
Malcolm and Barbara have now worked alongside each other in the cabin for 15 years.
He wants a sugar rush or something. How about
Thank you, that's lovely. But she is the consummate professional actress, you know, and has dedicated her life to this show and is grateful for what it's done for her. Whereas people tend to come in and say, I'll take the money and run, you know. That doesn't work with Barbara.
If I buried this toffee hammer in his skull, any chance of diminished responsibility?
If you have a partnership, you've got to give a little and take a little. And we don't have that problem. If it's her moment, you know, and occasionally, it's mine. Anyway, it's obvious I'm years younger than you.
It's a miracle that after all these years, I've got this great partner to work with, because it's a great help when your tennis player is good, really good, wonderful.
In 1964, a determined actress from Oldham brought a dancer to life in The Rover's Return.
Your mum's not got a room, has she? Sissy said she once stayed at your house.
Since then, Barbara Knox has given the nation a much-loved character.
We're ready now.
That we've taken to our hearts.
I'm very fond of you, Rita.
You know that?
Yeah.
So after 50 years of incredible drama, what has life with Rita meant to Barbara Knox?
My journey is a magical, magical ride. Journey of a lifetime.
Am I going brown?
Yes, you're going brown.
From a very ordinary little girl, a very ordinary town and a very ordinary street.
I've seen off bigger bullies than you in my time.
Let go.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think it would come to this.
She's alive! And I couldn't feel her pulse.
I'm not surprised under all that makeup.
I feel very lucky that I'm working at my age. And dear God, if I've got the health and strength, I would like to continue as long as they want me.
So I'd like to make a toast to a true survivor. Cheers, Rita.
Rita!
To be remembered, I will quote, "Bid me discourse and I will enchant thine ear." In other words, let me entertain you. I hope I have.
Girls don't come much sweeter than Senorita Rita. No one would complain if they made her Queen of Spain. Holly! Judge your face.
And tomorrow, New Year's Day, recover with our Birds of a Feather at 8:30 when they find out who is the smartest. Then on Friday, Johnny Vegas makes his return to the Costa Blanca in a new series of Benidorm where someone has come into some money. Next, Jason Manford takes a look at the highs, lows and selfies of the past 12 months. It's a funny old year, 2014.